Welcome to the Emotional Fitness Gym podcast, episode 2. By the end of this episode, the listener will understand extended disc as a behavioral preference, not identity labels, and learn the basic quadrant model, plus the 4 energies start. By the end of these 2 episodes, you'll be able to spot your likely default energy under pressure, recognize what energies tend to need from other people, and practice one flex behavior for better connection. All right, so let's get through it.
Conflict isn't always a values problem. Sometimes it's a pace problem.
Or a clarity problem, or a needs problem. Extended disc helps you see it. So, welcome back to the Emotional Fitness Gym podcast. I'm Brent Lindsay.
And I'm Valerie Andrews.
And this show promises to stay the same, moving people from reactive to survival, to self-led performance, deeper connection, and a purpose-aligned life through emotional fitness training.
And today we're introducing extended disc. Extended disc through the 2 energy styles, the compliant and the dominant.
And we're going to say this clearly. This is behavioral intelligence, not an identity label.
And a quick safety note. This is for education and coaching conversation, not therapy. So if anything comes up today for you, pause, take care of yourself, and consider reaching out to a qualified professional or trusted support.
And why this matters now. Relationships and teams are breaking down under speed, stress, and assumption.
And people interpret behavior as intention, like they don't care, they're controlling, they're incompetent, or they're trying to hurt me.
And often it's not malice. It's a mismatch, pace mismatch, or a communication mismatch, even risk mismatches.
Yeah. And more so when we're stressed, our curiosity drops, and then we decide what the other person means without asking.
An extended disc restores curiosity with language. It helps you stop personalizing behavior and start reading non-personal patterns. Like when you call out to someone on the street and they don't respond, is it on purpose or did they just not see you?
Yeah. And I love this because it's like with responsibility, there's no excuses, right?
Always. This model is never a whole pass. It's a mirror, a toolkit.
So we're looking at the framework first. So we're starting simple. So what is the quadrant model, Brent?
Well, it's a great question. The quadrant model maps out 4 energies. It shows how we tend to think or communicate within the energies, make decisions, and respond under pressure.
And it doesn't put you in a box. It gives you a map.
Exactly. It's a map, not the territory.
Can we explain this in an easy format for our listeners?
So there's 2 core differences that show up most: pace, fast or slow, and focus, task or people.
So if I'm slow and you're fast, I might feel rushed. Yeah.
Yeah. And if I'm task focused and you're people focused, you might feel dismissed.
Yeah. And that alone can reduce so much friction.
Yeah, because it reduces moral judgment. It turns your wrong into we're different.
Yeah. And I like the fact that it gives you choices and adapting without losing yourself.
From those axes, we get 4 behavioral energies present in all of us, with the D, I, S, and the C.
And all of us have all 4, We just default to some more than others, especially when we're under pressure.
Like especially. And you'll hear us say we can always count on our captain energy. But one more layer that really matters is our natural style versus our adapted style. Our natural is how you behave when you're performing, pleasing, or protecting.
Yeah. And adapted is how you shift to survive the environment, right?
Yeah, and so to meet expectations or to keep the peace, like to keep control, to stay safe. Yeah,
Yeah. And that gap matters because if you're constantly adapted, you can look successful but feel exhausted at the same time.
exactly. I know that oh too well. The struggle is real for all of us. So today we're going to focus on the C energy and the D energy, and we'll teach you them with the same scaffold. What is it? Why it matters? How it shows up? And misunderstandings and reframe. So, one micro action that you can take away.
Wow, that's a lot for our listeners today. So we better get started, right?
Right. It'll all unfold.
Okay, so before we go into the compliant energy, I want to name a thing. People hear DISC and they think personality tests, or they think it's going to tell them who they are.
Yeah. Or they think it's going to judge them.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So let's clarify this is behavioral preference, not identity. It's not worth and it's not capability.
Right. It's a snapshot of tendencies, and your job is to use it for choice, not for self attack, not for attacking others, for self reflection and understanding.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, then. So compliance, Brent. Do you
C,
want to start?
compliance, my big stretch to the C. I love it. Analytical people is under compliance. They're precise, they're structured. See compliance people love like more task focused. They're slower paced in their thinking. They like quality, accuracy, and logic.
And how do they see the world?
The world is complex for the C energy, and it needs to make sense because standards matter. And truth matters, consistency matters, compliance is literally their name and embodied in them. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I want to add a softness here because compliant often cares deeply.
Yeah.
They show their care through precision
Exactly.
and making sure they get it right.
Yeah, spot on. The C is often how do I so the C is often like love through detail, um, respect through standards, safety through correctness. We can all picture this person.
Yeah.
Mm.
And why it matters. What's the gift that these people have?
Yeah, probably misunderstood the C. The C brings
Mm,
precision. They bring risk management, quality control, integrity. The compliance energy often stops teams from making costly errors.
yeah. Yeah. And it's like the person who sees the missing clause in the contract.
Yeah, absolutely. Or the person who asks, "What's the evidence?" when everyone else is swept up in excitement. Let's go. They're pulling out the spreadsheet and past base like some facts. Yeah,
Yeah. And how does the compliance show up in communication?
precise and careful. They can sound detached when they're being responsible. They're less emotional in that word in the world because they're more criteria based. So they're removing emotion to facts.
Yeah. And sometimes if you're someone who needs more warmth, then you can misread that as cold.
Exactly. And it's actually the opposite from their standpoint. Um,
Mm,
and that's one of the most common misread things with the compliance energy.
yeah. And what about their decision-making skills?
Compliance energy, they like gathering data. They test logic and decide when the information is sound, correct over fast.
Yeah, yeah. So under pressure, a compliant energy might not respond quickly, not because they're avoiding, but because they're validating and needing all that information.
Yeah, 100%. Yes. They're thinking, they're mapping risk, they're checking the standard.
And conflict, how does that look?
Well, yeah, as well as conflict, 100%, like facts and rules, criteria. So under
Mm,
stress, like is rigidity, perfectionism, and critical tone, like analysis paralysis, they might
yeah,
feel abundant within them.
yeah. And the stress pattern can look like they're correcting everything, would you say?
Yeah, yes, correcting becomes control. It's an attempt to restore certainty when uncertainty feels unsafe.
And what is it they value?
We could probably all guess this one: accuracy, competence, and integrity.
Yeah. And their stresses?
The
What is it
stresses.
that stresses them out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what we all want to know, right? What are our stresses? So ambiguity, sloppy work, emotional pressure to decide quickly, being dismissed. Under stress, excuse me. Under stress, they can become tightened or correct to regain control, a bit cold, blunt, and forceful, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And what is it they need from others?
Clarity, evidence, and time to think. Respect for standards. It's all about getting it right.
Yeah. And that's a big word, right? Respect, because the compliant energy hears just do it as disrespect.
Yes, it can feel like you don't care about quality. You don't care about risk. You don't care about truth. Therefore, you don't care about me,
Yeah.
or
And
you
it's
don't
a,
care about the standards, which is me. Yeah, I love it.
yeah.
It's such a great
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah. And it's a common misunderstanding as well.
People think C is cold.
Yeah. And and how can we reframe that?
Yeah. So C often equals care expressed through precision. The growth edge is trusting intuition and allowing imperfection without the fear of threat.
Yeah. And I'd have to say also letting people in a little bit more.
Yep, absolutely. Sharing context, sharing intent are not just the standards.
Yeah. And the micro action that we can get our listeners to take.
Well, if you're a C, here we go. So this is what you do. You share the why and the human impact in one sentence, not just data. Not like I need this at 12. It'd be great to be able to get this in by 12 so we can meet the deadline so we all can benefit from this. Bringing the human side to it.
Yeah. And that's powerful because it connects the precision to the purpose, right?
Exactly. Um, and if you're speaking to a C, bring structure, purpose, bring criteria, explain the constraints in the timeline. It goes back to the standards and the respect.
Yeah. So let's make it super practical. If someone has a compliant on their team, what's one sentence that could help them?
Is a good one. So here's what it looks like. Here's the deadline.
Okay. And if you don't know what good looks like?
Or you could say that you could say, "You're still defining the standard. Can you help me map the criteria?" Because C loves criteria.
Yeah. Yeah. And that also makes them feel valued instead of criticized.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that we've covered the compliant energy, stepping into the dominant energy,
Yeah.
it's time to talk about that.
So let's get into it. So the D energy. So the D energy is another one of the very misunderstood energy. D stands for dominance, fast, directive, decisive, more task focused, more assertive. It's results driven, action, impact, future paced thinking. It's my
Yeah.
baby. I love my D energy, but very misunderstood as aggressive or uncaring, which is actually quite the opposite, similar to the C.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do they see the world?
The world is a place to move through. Obstacles are problems to solve. Momentum matters. Time matters. Action. Mm,
Yeah. I guess there's something refreshing about the dominant energy when you need traction. Yeah.
exactly. Well, D creates movement. The dominant
Yeah.
energy is often the energy that says, enough talk, let's get to it.
Yeah. It's like that Nike slogan. Yeah. Just do it.
That's right. Well, for a D, it's done.
Yeah. And why does it matter?
Why does it matter? Well, D brings
Yeah.
drive, direction, decisive action. In a team, D helps things move when others overthink.
Yeah. And what about their communication?
The communication is similar to a C. It's a bit short and direct, but they're outcome focused and they can sound blunt when they're being efficient, not because they don't care, but because they're trying to move fast or get to that outcome.
Yeah. And definitely, if you're the steadiness or influencer energy style, that can also feel a bit harsh to that style.
Exactly, and you and me, Val, have experienced this. Me being that high D, and you with that bit of IS, and I was a bit die with a bit of the D energy with a bit of I, the influencer, and we were able to connect through that because the D is often sort of I'm being clear instead of the emotional side. It's very sort of cold. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. And and again, it comes back to understanding each other to really where we are today, even in this relationship, of being able to understand each other's energy styles and how we work really well together because we're able to, uh, yeah, understand our patterns, our behaviors, how we make decisions. And it really does work together when you're working with the opposite style if you understand each other.
100%. Because
Yeah.
the decision making, right? The quick decisions, like with incomplete data, the roughly right and moving beats perfect and late for the D. And that was what you were saying. Like it took you a long time to understand this big picture thing, and me saying do the steps, and you want the detail of the steps that they'll understand in a minute or in the next episode. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So
And
where
the
are
conflict, that could occur,
well, that does
the
occur.
conflict that could occur,
Yeah.
like you said. Yeah,
Well, the D, like got
very
into
often.
like clean clash over simmer. It's rip the band-aid off, pull it off, move forward. They prefer directness.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And their values?
Values, all autonomy, competence, progress, impact, fastness. Yeah. Uh, Connection to outcome. In all areas. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And their biggest stresses, what would you say are they?
Well, being blocked, slow pace, lack of ownership, the vague answers can be very frustrate them. Under stress, they can become a bit impatient, a bit controlling, or overly forceful.
Yeah. And what is it they need from others?
What they need from others is clarity. They would like options. They would like to know who's in charge, who's control, who's got the ownership. I mean, they respect and sort of gravitate to calm confidence.
Calm confidence. Okay. Because the dominant doesn't respect the wobble, would you say?
Yeah, yes. If you come with apology energy, D can push harder. If you come with grounded clarity, D often relaxes. So I guess let me just
Yeah.
I'll be an
Yeah.
example. Was what I when I heard this many decades ago, I loved it. It was like, come to your boss with the solution, not the problem. So if you come to me, okay, so I just crashed the truck, but I've got a new motor that was cheap and, put it to reality, like you had to do it anyway. I guess it's now it's like, no, fair enough. And we can come from that point. If you come from excuses, it wasn't me, the D will go, where's your accountability? It's,
Yeah.
yeah, a bit different.
Yeah. And it sounds like the dominant energy really does, it doesn't take lightly to people who aren't truthful. Like they really like to be spoken to um, directly and straight to the point.
Yeah, yeah. We're cutting out sadly, and why they're misunderstood is they're cutting out the most important parts in communication, like the niceties, the please and thank yous, or the space, sometimes that people need, to think.
Yeah. Yeah. So they have common misunderstandings
Yeah, yeah, it's
in
right.
that sense.
That's right, 100%. So people think D equals aggressive or unkind.
Yeah. And another way we can word that for people.
Well, D often equals urgency and responsibility. Growth edge is adapting warmth without losing strength, which we've always said before, a little bit more
Yeah.
of the space, the niceties, the pleasantries of the world.
Yeah. And warmth doesn't mean weakness at all.
Exactly right. Warmth in is leadership maturity. Actually, it's the opposite.
Yeah. Nice. And what would be one micro action for our listeners with the dominant energy?
So if you're the big D and you're a dominant energy and you're acknowledging this within yourself, add one relational sentence before the request. Slow down enough in yourself to say something like, I appreciate you. Hey, here's what we need. Or it'd be great to have your input on this. This would be a great outcome. Um, and if you're speaking to
Yeah.
a D, lead with the point and the outcome. Don't bury the ask in a long story. Direct, decisive, and to the point.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're receiving dominant energy, don't translate it as rejection. Ask one clarifying question before you react.
So I guess a translation and flex, um, is the stop and the slow down, as you were just saying, to find that
Yep.
space to put in the personal. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, as we're aware, the compliant and dominant energy are interesting together because they share task focus but differ in pace. So compliant slows for the correctness and the dominant speeds for the results.
Ye- ye-
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that creates a predictable friction. D thinks C is dragging and C thinks D is reckless between.
Yeah. Yeah. So the emotional fitness move is translation, not judgment.
Yeah, translation and flex.
Yeah. And now we bring it back to the point. Extended disc doesn't help if it becomes a label. It helps when it becomes a choice.
Exactly. Emotional fitness gives you the capacity to flex. Extended disc gives you the language to know what to flex. I like
Yeah. And when we want to name the misuse, people use DISC to justify their worst habits, like I'm just a D or I'm just a C. That's not maturity.
no. So that's what's a reframe here. Your default is information. Your responsibility is choice.
Yeah. Which means if you're a dominant energy, you don't get to say I'm blunt. You get to say I tend to be direct and I can add warmth.
And if you're a C, you don't get to say, I'm just precise. You get to say, I value quality and I can include the human impact.
Correct. So I guess let's show how this reduces friction in a team, shall we? With
Okay.
an
Yeah.
example.
Yeah, no, it's a good one to give people something tangible to look at. So, in your mind, let's have a look at scenario A. So, the dominant leader, the D leader, sends a short message. Need this done by 3. D thinks they're being efficient.
Yep. And the compliant reads missing context like what are the criteria? What's the standard? What's the priority trade off?
Yeah, yeah, and then the D can read that as resistance, like, "Why are you complicating this?"
And the compliant can read the dominant shortness as disrespect, like, why are you pressuring me without clarity?
Yeah, yeah, I feel this. I feel this being a D, and none of that is because anyone is bad, it's just a different lens.
Correct. So, what's the emotional fitness move
Alright, ready for it.
in this?
Yeah, no, so this is what it's all about, the flex, guys. So,
Yeah.
before you do anything, you pause just before you interpret. And then ask yourself for
Yeah.
clarity. Ask and be open with curious for clarity. Ask. That's what we have to do. And then the flex of one behavior. So we pause before anything happens and ask, and then flex that one behavior by adding some sort of personable bit to the end. So for all we have to do, just the end. The bit that we don't think is important, that we would like to hurry up to be efficient, just add it and we're good. Uh,
Give the one line flex for the listeners.
yeah, okay. So if I'm D sending it, I'll add warmth in the meaning. Like, so need this done by 3 to protect the client's outcome. It's really funny that that the D won't go protect us. It's still about the company. Yeah, interesting.
So, if I'm a compliant receiving that, I ask for a criteria without judgment. So, confirm the standard and top 3 requirements so I can deliver accurately.
Mm. And here's a deeper layer. D often needs to speed because they're projecting, or so they're protecting, not projecting. They're protecting what it is that they're trying to hide. Mm. Outcome.
Mhm. And the compliant often needs criteria because they're protecting quality and risk.
Exactly. And both are trying to protect something important. So respect the first, then negotiate the method.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's such a key relational skill as well because respect first, then negotiate.
And that's the gym rep, right?
Yeah.
Spot your default energy in the last 24 hours and then choose that one flex behavior to try.
Yeah. So think back in the last 24 hours when you felt pressure, what did you do?
Did you push for results? Did you speed up, get direct? That's the D.
Or did you tighten into detail, analyze, correct, and seek certainty? That's the compliant.
Now, choose one flexible behavior. Just one. Not a new personality, just one behavior.
And if your default was the D, which is the dominant, add some warmth and one relational sentence.
If your default was C, add a human sentence. Name the impact, not just the data.
Yeah. And that's the rep.
Absolutely. It's the listener's reflection. So
Yeah.
take this reflection, take these into your next week and use your emotional flexibility and keep trying and applying.
Yeah. And I've got some questions here also for the listeners. So the first question is, which energy do you default to under pressure, the dominant or the compliant? And what does it protect?
And question 2, what do you judge the opposite energy? And what story are you making up about it?
Yeah. And question 3, what's one conversation this week where a small flex would change the whole outcome?
Mm.
And let's recap exactly 3 takeaways and 1 micro action.
So takeaway 1. Extended disc is a behavioral preference. It's not an identity label.
And takeaway 2, the compliant and the dominant energies share task focus but differ in pace, and misunderstandings can create friction.
And takeaway 3, emotional fitness is the capacity to flex consciously rather than defaulting.
And the micro action, as already discussed today, do one flex in one conversation. The dominant adds warmth and the compliant adds human impact.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so there's a lot to take on. There's a lot that might be new to you, but here's a call to action for the next episode teaser because
Yeah,
we're talking about D&I, and you may not have gone, I'm not one of them. And that's okay, but this is what it's about, and that's what the next episode is. So stay tuned.
for sure. We're going to cover the steadiness and influencer energies, um, and the people and connection side of this model and how to stop misreading each other under stress. And if you've found that this has helped you translate behavior with less judgment, follow the show and share it with someone you communicate with often.
Next episode, we are going to get straight into steadiness and the influence energy, the S&I, the people and connection side of the model, the really lovely people, and how to stop misreading each other under stress.
Yeah, so important. So, like I said, take a breath.
And we'll see you in the gym. Bye for now.
So important.